All right, we're live. Here we go. Awesome. See some people jumping in already. So glad that you guys are here. It's going to be a great event. I love that. Oh, we already have a poll up. So while you guys are jumping on, go ahead and respond to this poll for us, just so as to get to know you a little bit more. Let's see here. What are you most excited to do this summer? So we know summer's a little tentative, not sure what it's going to look like, but God willing, if we're able to, what would you most be excited to do? Maybe go to Disneyland, maybe hang out with some friends you haven't seen in a while, go on vacation, go to a concert. What's going to be, what is on your guys' minds? What are you looking forward to? I know if I were to pick one, well, I would pick go to a concert, but only because I was supposed to go to the Taylor Swift concert this last summer. It didn't happen. Sad. I'm still grieving it, but it's okay. I'll move on. I don't know. What about my panelists here? Alex, Angelica, Elea, Hannah, what would you guys pick out of all these options?
Okay, wait. First, I relate to the grieving process of a concert. I had tickets to see Hamilton right when the pandemic started. That one hurt. That one still hurts. So I relate to that. But I think out of this list, maybe go to Disneyland or specifically like Six Flags Magic Mountain. I really want to go to. But I was looking into it today, and like there's some articles that are coming out saying that like amusement parks will be open, but they're gonna try to like limit screaming on a ride. And so I'm like, how does that work? So we'll see, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. How about you, Hannah? How about you?
Yeah, I'm just, it's funny. I'm glad to do all of the things on that list, but with friends. So I think my number one is hanging out with friends. That'll be nice when we can just go cruising to an amusement park, travel, and do all of the above, but with them.
Maybe you'll just stand outside an amusement park with friends. Get a little bit of both, since it's like
Just wait in line all day.
yeah, since it's so expensive to go to any amusement park, what if we just stood outside with our friends? Oh, let's see what the responses are. Okay. All right. So yeah, majority of people are saying hang out with friends. Well, if you guys need an idea, me and Hannah will be outside one of the amusement parks, just admiring it, listening to the Disney music, looking at the Six Flags rides as people are not allowed to scream. Very nice. Alex or Angelica, anything that you wanted to add? What are you looking forward to this summer?
I'm definitely looking forward to when we have concerts coming back. Just like both of you guys, I had tickets to go see Harry Styles, which I was really sad that it didn't get to happen. So yeah, that was sad. But I'm also looking super forward to going to Disneyland because I haven't been in like 6 years. So that's on like top of my to-do list this summer.
Mine is not on the list, but I'm so excited to actually see students. So God willing, if everything goes well, I'm so excited to like hang out with actual people and actual students and like get to see the people that I've been working with for like months already. So yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, all good things. Definitely looking forward. I know if I could do all of them, I totally would. I remember last year, so the day that Disneyland got shut down, I went because two friends of mine got engaged. And so we were like, oh, so it was like super sweet and exciting and like all this adrenaline, but it was like kind of late and we were feeling pretty tired. So we were like, oh, should we go on a ride? And then we were like, no, we'll be back in a couple months. Well, here we are a year later. Naive Natalie had no idea what was about to happen. And I regret my decision, but also if not being able to go to Disneyland is the worst thing that's happened to me, I live a pretty good life. So feeling thankful, but also feeling excited to go back. So yeah, welcome you guys to this event. We are so glad you're here. This event really is for you guys. We want to be able to answer your questions. We're going to introduce ourselves in just a little bit. But yeah, guys are going to see there's a little Q&A box. If you have any questions for us about student life, about admissions, about majors, about whatever it may be with APU, then we are your people. And so yeah, I'm gonna in just a moment share a quick video with you guys, but any questions that come up, go ahead and send them and then we'll introduce ourselves and we'll get this thing started. So I'm going to share my screen and here we go.
Hi, my name is Hannah and I'm a sociology major and I'm a senior. Initially, I actually came into APU with a different major. And I was really excited about that major, and I took a bunch of classes, and the people were amazing and the professors were awesome. But when I started to get deeper and deeper into it, I decided that I wasn't super sure about it anymore. So then I actually applied to study abroad in South Africa and got accepted. Entering it, I wanted to be as open-minded as I could and understand that people are incredibly different, and enter that with just grace and so much love. Sitting and listening to someone and learning their story and appreciating them is something that is so essential to just sharing the gospel and being a disciple of Jesus. I completely changed my mind and wanted to become part of the sociology major. Jesus was like, Hannah, you're gonna do this instead, and I want you to do this, and you're gonna thrive in this. And then I entered the major and met so many so passionate professors that just wanted to sit down and wanted you to excel and wanted you to succeed. And I felt like I was a team with them. I can just have so many different conversations where people can sit down with one another and be willing to listen and be willing to challenge one another and say, okay, tell me why you believe that, or tell me why you think this should change. Sociology majors are some of the most passionate people I've ever met, and I think that I'm really lucky and so honored to be a part of that.
I love that video. Never get tired of seeing it. I've done plenty of these events, see it every time, always a good one. So we are going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. And again, any questions you guys have, go ahead and send them in the Q&A and we'd be happy to answer them. But we're going to introduce ourselves so you guys get a better feel for who we are. Maybe you have some specific questions for us based on what we've been involved with, our majors maybe. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and start. My name is Natalie Day. I'm a current senior here at APU, and I'm majoring in communication studies. And then I have a minor in youth ministry. So a few things I've been able to do over my 4 years here. I got to study abroad in South Africa, which was a dream come true. I worked with Young Life for the last 3 years. So if you're familiar with that organization, I could talk a lot about that. Got connected to them through APU. And I also just love being at APU. So there's a lot of things that I could talk about. Those are the two biggest things, Young Life, and then again, studying abroad. But I've also been involved in a D group and been able to attend a couple different clubs. So that's a little bit about myself, but I'm going to kick it off to Elea to share a little bit about who she is.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elea Arpan. I'm a third year at APU studying communication management and also minoring in leadership studies. A few things that I've been involved in. Gosh, there's been so much. I think some of my favorites have included discipleship groups, being involved with one of our ethnic organizations, the Pacific Islander organization, and then currently a position I have on campus that's given me a lot of joy is being an intern with our Office of Corporate Worship, which is the office that puts on chapel. So any of your questions you have about chapel, feel free to send them in the Q&A.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to have Alex go ahead and introduce herself next, and then we'll hand it over to Gibbs.
All right. Hi, guys. My name is Alex. I'm a kinesiology major with a minor in psychology. I'm currently on the club volleyball team, and I'm also working in admissions as an undergraduate and international admissions intern.
Awesome. Hannah, let's hear it.
Yeah, my name is Hannah Gibson, but like Natalie said, most people at APU just call me Gibbs. I am a Christian ministries major here. I'm a junior, but I actually started out as a music education major. So I did that for 2 years. So if you have any questions about the music program, I can answer a lot of that. I've been involved in residence life over the last 3 years, which if you don't know what an RA is, it basically lives on a hall with residents and kind of just helps them with spiritual development, emotional development, anything that they need to make their living area life work more smoothly. So I've had a lot of involvement in that. I've also led 2 action teams, one to East Asia and one to Russia, but it got canceled right before we could go. But so I've had a lot of work with the Center for Student Action. And then I, like Alex, work as an undergraduate admissions intern. So we just do a lot of student outreach to people who are applying to APU. And I'm currently just starting to get involved in Student Government Association. So maybe I could help answer any questions on that. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, so all of us students here have a really wide range of experience and knowledge. So anything you got, then we're here for it. But the last person we're going to introduce is Angelica. So Angelica, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you're joining us?
Yeah, thanks so much, Natalie. My name is Angelica, and I am one of the admissions counselors here at APU. I also graduated from APU in 2016. And so I currently work with all types of students, first-time freshmen, transfers, international students, CPKs. I pretty much serve everybody. And so I love what I do. And I love that I get to answer complex questions from different students and just people who are in different walks of life. So I hope that today I'll be able to answer any questions that you may have, regardless of how simple or complicated you think they may be. And when I was a student at APU, I was involved in the Sigma Delta Pi Honor Society for Spanish, which was one of my majors. And I also just loved working in the School of Music. I was a music assistant there. And no, I don't have any background in music, but I just loved it and it was so much fun. So
Awesome. So yeah, that's a little bit about us. I see you guys sending in some questions. Go ahead and keep those coming. We want to, again, answer any that you guys are going to have. We're going to start answering those in just a few minutes. But first, I'm going to share my screen and play one more video for you. And then we will start answering everything that you guys have.
Hi, my name is Kylan Brooks. I'm a junior here at Azusa Pacific, and I'm an entrepreneurship major. I was doing my accounting classes, and I was really just struggling the entire semester trying to get all the work done. And I was like, I really don't want to be an accountant. And it just like clicked for me right there. I was like, why don't you start your own business? My accounting professor was the one who encouraged me to pursue entrepreneurship. He actually told me a couple of his life experiences as an entrepreneur, and he kind of encouraged me more so to do it and told me the path I can take with it. I believe the leadership here from all the professors kind of guide the students to follow the correct path that they want to do and not something that someone else told them to do.
All right, so those again are just a couple videos that we have for you guys just to get a feel for other students here at APU. But to kick things off, the first question we have asked is, have you ever worked on campus? And if so, what was your favorite job? So all of us are currently working here on campus, so we can all speak to working with undergraduate admissions, which I think we're supposed to say that is our favorite job, which it is because we get to talk to all of you guys. But I know a couple of us have also done a couple other on-campus things. But for myself, yeah, this is the only job that I have worked with on campus and I've absolutely loved it. So chances are if you've come to a virtual tour, then you might have seen me probably wearing this exact same sweater because it's the only thing that I wear to all these different events. And so that's what I get to do is I just get to talk about APU, talk about my experience, talk about what I enjoy and all the different things that we have here to offer you guys. But I'm going to offer it up to any of our other panelists here to share any other experiences you have with working on campus.
Yeah, I can talk about it. So I work, and I've only worked in admissions and as an intern. And so what I do is, if you're a transfer student, you probably have heard my voice. Is I'm the person who's calling you guys and telling you guys like, hey, like we have a fee waiver code for you guys, or like, hey guys, like we're having this really cool like new program or something like that. We talk about with you guys, see if you had any questions or anything like that. And yeah, we're pretty much the people who call you. We put on events and different kind of stuff, try to really like interact with you, get you guys super excited for coming to APU, which is our job. And we all love it here. So yeah.
Yeah, Elea, anything else to add?
Yeah, so other than admissions, which is definitely my favorite job, I've also held a few other positions. My first years at APU, I worked in our library. So I was a library assistant, which was the best job under admissions, of course, because we love admissions. That's such a good job on campus, and it's really nice and calm, a great place to work. And then my internship that I do for chapel is also a paid position. So that technically counts as a job as well. So one thing you'll notice when you get to APU's campus is that you can get a job for doing like anything, like whether that's a barista in our East Campus coffee shop or again, like sorting books in the library. It's really awesome how many jobs you have to choose from when you become a student.
Yeah, definitely. Gibbs, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about RA. I know that's like kind of a job, but also one of the more relational jobs that you get to have here on campus. But if you wanted to speak into that, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I love talking about RA. Yeah, so like I kind of touched on earlier, describing what an RA is, basically. Well, to put it into example, so last year before COVID happened, I was an RA for the freshman dorms. So you guys would move into the freshman dorms and you'd meet an RA who's maybe a couple years older than you. And I just got the honor of living with you guys, and I get to help you guys with any situations that pop up or any academics. And I just get to sit down and have coffee with you guys and hang out, throw little events, pancake nights, movie nights. I get to do all of that. And then it pays in a certain different way. So you'll notice that certain jobs on campus, if they're more leadership positions, we get paid in forms of scholarships. So the RA scholarship covers free housing and free meal plans, which is pretty big, pretty fun, nice perk. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. And I also work in admissions too. Gonna say I love it. It's great. Love talking to you guys. But yeah.
Who knows? Maybe one day all of you guys will be on a panel for admissions events. But Angelica, too, also has had some on-campus work experience, not only because she graduated and now currently works at APU, but while she was a student, too. So if you want to share some more about that.
Yeah, I feel like I worked everywhere on campus. I started working at the Den when I was a sophomore, I want to say. And that was great because you had like a different thing to do every single day, and it was a great experience. Then I moved on to the Learning Enrichment Center, and I worked as a tutor and also as a supplemental instructor for some classes. And so for those of you who are passionate about a specific subject and do really well in a class, it's definitely an option to tutor other students on that and get paid for it, which is great. And the last thing I did was work as a music assistant, like I mentioned before. And that was great because I got to work on something called Celebrate Christmas, which I don't know if we'll be able to put that on, this year because of COVID, but it's a beautiful gathering with like so many choral arrangements and all of that. And it was great. I had, I think, a good variety of opportunities. And so if you have a passion, we can definitely find a place for you on campus.
Yeah, plenty of job opportunities for you guys here on campus. Whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, super senior, no matter what, you will find a place that really fits what you're looking for. So the next question we're going to answer is, what kind of chapels are there? So I'm going to ask Alex to share more of like a student experience of chapel, and then Elea is going to talk more about behind the scenes and kind of what goes on into planning all of those for you guys. So Alex, if you want to share a little bit about what your chapel experience has been like.
Yeah, so chapel experience at APU is really it's like super cool because first of all, well, sadly, unfortunately, since the COVID, I don't really know how it's going to look like going into the fall. But what it used to look like when we didn't have like COVID and stuff like that is that everybody comes together for chapel. There's 5 different kinds of chapels. Sorry, I had to count that out. There's one that's offered Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the morning, and then there's one that's offered on Wednesdays in the evening, and then there's also another one offered on Wednesday nights for seniors, and then there's one that's sometimes offered on Thursdays as well. So there's like a good variety that you can go to throughout the week, and you only have to attend 3 of them. I mean, you can attend way more if you want to. Me personally, being kinesiology, I don't have a lot of time to go to extra chapel, sadly, but I love going to chapel. It's just such an amazing experience because you get to go with your friends and like people who you've met like within your classes, and like you just get to go and like worship with them. It's pretty much like a little mini like rock concert is like how I like to describe it to my friends that don't go to APU, but it's just super cool. Like you get to go and hang out with all your friends and like worship God. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, and I could share just a little bit more as part of being on the team that helps create chapel. Like Alex said, obviously it looks different right now. We're in a remote setting, so we watch chapels virtually. But one of my favorite things about chapel specifically is how involved our whole community is in it. It's not just our campus pastors putting it on, but we have students behind the scenes who are working on a spiritual life team to help create topics and create graphics and just help with the themes. We have students who are talented and play instruments or sing, and they lead our whole campus into worship as a part of our chapel bands. And so you don't have to just be someone who watches chapel every every week, but you can be a part of that experience as well, which is really great. And so because of that, they're constantly changing up the subjects, keeping in mind that we have students at APU who maybe come from different faith backgrounds. And so because of that, like Alex said, there's all these different chapels being offered all days of the week, which is really great. And so you get to try out traditions, you get to try out maybe different practices that you may not have known growing up. And so that's the great part, just like the diversity that is represented through our chapels because of how many people are involved.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of great opportunities and things to get involved with chapel, and it really is an enjoyable experience. So the next question we're going to talk about is service credit hours. So you guys have asked a couple different questions. What does it look like to have service hours? What are some different opportunities? So I'm going to share a little bit about that, and then I'm going to have Gibbs talk about specifically action teams and what her favorite parts of that were, because that also kind of ties into this. So we ask all of our students to complete a total of 120 service credit hours during their 4 years here at APU. And we do that because we want you to be invested in serving. We want you to be serving in the community, whether that's locally, across the country, globally. So there's a ton of different ways that you can do that. You can do something just like walking down the street, going to the local homework house and working with middle school and high school students, or you can go all the way across the country on an action team. Like I mentioned earlier, I did Young Life for 3 years, so that was a big bulk of it. If you volunteer at a summer camp for a church every year, that definitely counts towards it. So there's a lot of different ways to achieve that, and APU really sets you up well with getting involved in that. So we send a lot of different teams out to different places, and again, you can even just figure out stuff on your own. But Gibbs, do you want to share a little bit about action teams specifically and maybe a big highlight about that?
Yeah, so I first got involved in action teams when I had never even left California before. So anybody can really get involved, and anybody can choose to lead or just be a team member, depending on what you want to do, what you're comfortable with. Yeah, so I've led technically 3 teams. 2 of them have been canceled so far, sadly, but the process before going to the country or to whatever state you're going to go to is just as vital, just as important. So basically, you get together a team of fellow APU students and you meet with them once a week, kind of learn about the ministry you're about to be doing, do fundraising together, which is super fun, even though it sounds crazy, but it's super fun. Get to learn each other's life stories about who you're going to go with. And then during the summer or the spring, you get to travel with them and do the ministry. The first ministry I did in East Asia was with college students. So I just got to live on a college campus for 5 weeks and just talk to different people, learn about their culture, and teach, answer any questions and teach them anything they wanted to know about Christianity. The second one was going to be in Russia, and it was going to be working with an orphanage with kids at a summer camp. So I was really bummed that I didn't get to participate in that, but that's another type of ministry that is available through the CSA office. Yeah, and it's just not out of country. You can also travel. There's a lot of options for places in the US. And then we have a Mexico outreach program that I've never done, but I know is really big on APU's campus.
Yeah, for sure. The next question we're going to answer, which I believe most of us, if not all of us, can talk about is, do we have any tips for preparing for living in the dorms on campus? So freshman dorm experience, it is so much fun. I love the freshman dorms. I had a great time there. In terms of preparing, prepare to end up buying more than you think you're going to need, because everybody runs to like Target, Walmart, IKEA. So you're likely going to show up and move in and be like, I'm ready. And then you're going to be like, I'm not ready. I need to buy out all of Target and Azusa so I can be prepared. So you end up realizing a lot of things that you might need. So for example, when I showed up, I had like 3 suitcases. My parents were like, you'll be fine. I was not fine. So it was like, we had to buy little like storage bins. We had to buy clothes hangers. We had to buy a lamp, like all these different things. So just know that like, especially if you're the first person like in your family going to college, I'm the oldest, so I was, you might end up needing more than you expect. But the great thing is you're kind of all in it together and you just kind of figure it out how you go. But anybody else tips for living in the freshman dorms?
I guess I would add Pinterest is a great resource for everything Natalie just said. Like I spent my whole summer before freshman year on Pinterest, just organizing my dorm already. And then another great resource, which I wish I would have known about prior to coming to APU, is we have a Facebook group called APU Buy and Sell. And so there's people constantly selling things like that they used maybe freshman year that they no longer need, like a mini fridge, a printer, things like that, or even seniors who are graduating. And so that helps you save money when it comes to those things. They sell books there as well. Some people sell like the craziest things. So I would definitely join that Facebook group, especially if you're an incoming freshman. It's really helpful.
Yeah. Anyone else? Alex, Gibbs, anything to add on? It's okay if not. We've got plenty more questions to answer here. All right. Well, that's all you need to know. Pinterest and spending money at Target. Then you're all set. But seriously, the dorms are great. I mean, you heard Gibbs talk about an RA. That person is literally there to be your friend and get to know you right off the bat. The great thing to know is that everybody's in, like, you're in it together with everybody. Like, nobody on that hallway besides your RA has ever been a freshman in college before. So you're all kind of figuring out together, and you just get to do that. So yeah, not a lot of tips. You're just kind of thrown into it. But hey, if we survive, then you guys can too. I'm really excited about this question. What is the best food on campus and off campus? So I love all these questions about food. So so let's see here. Elea, do you want to share your favorite food options on and off campus first? And then we'll kind of go around.
Yes. Oh gosh, I miss the food just around APU. There's so many options and on campus. I think my favorite, like my go-to was on West Campus. So we have this place called The Grill where they have really good grilled foods and they have barbecue chicken, mac and cheese. That was my go-to. I almost got it too much. I missed that one. And then off campus, there's a place right down the street. It's called Flappy Jack's. It's a pancake house. The pancakes are like this big and they're so good. So that'd be my recommendation.
Yeah. Alex, what about you?
I would have to definitely say Sam's Subs, like sandwiches, like just like a classic just for lunch. They make like bomb, like I can't even describe it, like they're just bomb sandwiches like all the time. And then off campus, I definitely have to say Chick-fil-A. And then also they just before we left, they built a Cane's right next door, and I'm from Northern California. We don't have Cane's, so like I've been craving Cane's like really hardcore the last couple of months. So I'm like, okay, like it's just time to go back to school and like go get Cane. Like
Yeah, definitely. So I came from Oregon, and when I first came down to APU, especially when I visited, we didn't have Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out in Oregon, and they just in the last like 4 years built it. So now when I go home, it's okay. But that was like the biggest thing for me was like, oh, it's right by Chick-fil-A. My parents were like, don't make your college decision off that. And it didn't like fully make my decision, but it influenced it, not gonna lie. But yeah, on campus, I would say Sam's Subs or Umai Sushi is another really good one. And then off campus, I love Taco King, which is right by our West campus. And they had $1 tacos on Wednesdays. So my friend Max and I would go every Wednesday night and get $1 tacos. But Gibbs, were there any other food options we missed that you want to add on?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get a little bit of pushback from my fellow panelist members here for this one, but I am totally a convenience-based person. So I'm not saying this is the best flavor, but when you're on the go, I'm a huge pause and go girl. So if I'm in between classes, I skateboard really, really quickly, have to get to West, I'm gonna grab a sandwich, grab some fruit, grab a water, and go. So I really love the convenience of that. That's probably the food I eat the most, and I'll shamefully say that. Um, and then my favorite off campus, if you're a sushi lover, I'm a huge sushi lover. There's a bunch of great sushi places in the area, but walking distance, most of you freshmen might not have cars. There's a place called Honey Roll, right across the street, which I love, eat all the time. And then Casaneda's, which is pretty famous, used to be called Santana's, great burritos. I believe they're open 24/7 because I've gone pretty late after busting out finals papers and gotten burritos at night. So yeah, those are mine.
Yeah, there are plenty of options for you, again, both on and off campus as to what you can eat, but it does get dangerous when you can just go get in and out. I thought definitely, Gibbs, I thought you were gonna, when you mentioned the pushback. So for those who don't know, Pause and Go is like a little convenience store. So you kind of like she just said, like run in, grab a snack and head out. I thought you were gonna talk about Mexicali, which is another food option we have here on campus, but it's kind of like a running joke at APU, like, oh, you're going to Mexicali. Like it's it's like Chipotle, but like APU Chipotle. So worth the experience. For some people, it really is just the experience, but plenty of options for you guys.
It's good. We promise Mexicali is good. It's not like we're like hating on it. We're just like telling you it's like a joke like between APU students.
Yeah. See, now you guys are already in on the inside jokes. So now you have to come and you guys can start that with the freshmen and be like, oh, Mexicali, like, haha. Anyways, moving on, favorite events at APU. So we've all been able to attend a couple different events, but if you guys can think of any ones that stand out to you, I know I've loved going to dances because I love dancing. I will never stop dancing, but that's the one that stands out to me. But what other on-campus events have we had that you guys can think of?
I love it when they do like the little concerts, like was it on the like I'm blanking now on the like area, but like yeah, we did like concerts on like the grass and stuff like that. It's super cool, and they have like bands come from like, it's always a different kind of band, and it's like sometimes it's people like I've never even heard of, and then other times it's like really cool bands that like I have heard of, and then I'm like, oh my god, like how did APU like get you to come like to our school and like play for us? And it's like your own little like private concert like for the school. It's super cool.
Oh, I can
Yeah,
add.
I would just, or you
Oh,
want to
go.
go? You go first. Either way.
Okay. I would say one I really, really miss and I would look forward to every semester is the week of, I think it's like the Sunday of finals week. It's called Midnight Breakfast. All of us would go to Cougar Walk, which is like the main hangout spot on campus. And it's like close to midnight. We're all kind of like needing a break from finals. And so a bunch of students put on some fun skits. They serve breakfast. It's just like something we all do. So I miss Midnight Breakfast.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might be a little bit biased, but I really love the freshman events that the dorms put on every year. Um, they kind of change every year, but basically we throw a bunch of events so that all the dorms can meet together on Trinity and just you can get to know other people from other dorms and other living areas. So we've had like the freshman Olympics where everybody has different colored t-shirts and then they just like play in games and compete, and it's always a huge turnout and it's super fun. Carnivals. And then I was also going to mention Good Times, which I have never been a part of Alpha program, so I've never actually participated in it, but basically you get a alpha leader when you show up in an alpha group, and that first week of school, I think it's such a good icebreaker for freshmen is getting to go out on DRC and just watch your alpha leaders participate in really funny skits. I enjoy watching that every year, and as you get older the alpha leaders are your friends, so you get to go watch and like they do funny skits, so it's really fun.
Yeah, lots of fun things to either get involved with and actually put on or just show up and have a good time. I'm going to answer a question that I'm going to be able to answer, and then we'll head on to another one. So the question we'll come back to is for you guys to think about best place to study on campus. But I'm going to talk real quick about studying abroad because I'm passionate about it. I promise I won't take up the rest of our time, but studying abroad is huge. I think that if it's something that I wanted to do because I wanted to be pushed out of my comfort zone and live in an area that I probably wouldn't get a chance to do. So I got to be in South Africa for 3 months, 2 years ago today. I was there, which is absolutely insane. But we have a couple different programs offered. We send our nursing students to study abroad sometimes. Typically, we were sending students to South Africa, Ecuador, and then Lake Tahoe, I believe, was our newest one. So not sure what the transition looks like next for studying abroad. I don't know if Angelica wants to come on and if she has anything to say about that. But yeah, we offer that for our students. You'll be taking all general ed classes. So regardless of your major, you're able to take those. So for example, I took biology and history in South Africa. I don't enjoy biology and history. I only enjoyed it because I was in South Africa. So you get to do things, you're taking classes. So again, anybody can apply. They just ask you, again, pretty general application of why you want to go there, what you're passionate and excited about. But not only are you learning, but you're getting to know other people from APU, and you get to do a lot of fun excursions. So like when I was in Africa, we got to go on safari. And then I know like if you're in Ecuador, you get to go to the Galapagos, I think it is. Like there's a ton of different things to get involved with, and they really do make it the best experience possible. But Angelica, anything to add on about updates? I'm not sure where we're at with that, if that's still an option, what that's going to look like for us.
Yeah, so we don't have specific information on what that's going to look like. Right now, I guess our main focus is getting back on campus and seeing how that's going to work out. But along with our student life and student health center, we're going to be just giving more information in regards to that. We still have a study away office, so we're hopeful that we're going to be able to offer that in the future. But we don't have specific details about that as of right now.
All right, thanks for that. Yeah, that's good for us to know, for you guys to know. And most people study abroad their sophomore year. That's typically when people go sophomore, junior year as well. So, we're just going to have to kind of go with the flow on that one. So, yeah, so coming back to our other question, where is the best place to study on campus? What did you guys come up with and what were you thinking about? Hannah is shaking her head like, I don't study. We study, we get things done, I promise. But Gibbs, let's hear it first.
I am so hesitant to admit this, which is why I'm shaking my head, because I have a feeling that I'll admit this and then freshmen come fall, you all are going to be on campus and I'm going to come to my secret spot and see like a bunch of people sitting there studying. But I guess it's not that much of a secret. But if you go to a place called Wynn Amphitheater, which is my favorite place on planet Earth, there's a little table that's tucked behind a bunch of trees, which I think everybody knows about. But for some reason, whenever I go there, no one's there. So I'm not the type I can't study with people. I need to be by myself in my zone. So you'll catch me there at like shamelessly 4 a.m. finishing up a paper and I'm just out in Wynn Amphitheater at that table. So if I catch you guys there, I'll be like, were you in that event on virtual?
Yeah, if you're there, Gibbs shows up. Were you at the event on Thursday, March 18th in 2021? Very specific. Elea, what were you going to mention?
Oh, I literally gasped because I was going to say that. Not that specific. I'm not that specific, Gibbs, but I might be now. So watch out. But I love Wynn Amphitheater. It was the first space I fell in love with when coming to campus. It's just like this kind of off to the side in East Campus outdoor amphitheater that's sometimes used for admissions events, but majority of the time it's open. There's turtle ponds there. This is a great place. I would do all my like reading kind of studying out there. Just get some vitamin D. It's quiet. Nothing really happens there. It's a good place.
Yeah, Alex, or are you also in the Wynn Amphitheater?
No, so I'm actually on West Campus a lot of times since I'm a science major. So like I'm in like Segerstrom a lot of times, which is our science building. They also have a little turtle pond in there. They're so cute. You can actually watch them online right now. They're really cute, the little turtles. But also Theology Library, that's a good one. Not a lot of people go to the Theology Library just because it is the Theology Library. So people like go in and then come out. But like if you stay in there, it's really quiet compared to our other library. And then also over by like the theater building over by like Mary Hill and stuff like that, there's also like a little corner with a table there that I always sit at and no one's like ever there. So I'm like always stealing that one. So if you guys steal my spot, I'm gonna be a little sad, but like it's okay.
I love how emotional Alex got about the turtle pond. That just like made my day because we have 2 turtle ponds here on campus. Definitely worth your time. Yeah, another thing that convinced me to come to APU, of course, Chick-fil-A and the turtles. I'm going for myself, and then we're going to invite Angelica on to talk about a couple other questions that we have here. But I don't like studying in the library. I don't like quiet spaces. It just stresses me out. And like you make one wrong move and everybody knows, and then my face turns bright red. And it's just embarrassing. And then I can't study. So I would always study right outside the library. So we have tables and chairs set up outside the library. So that's where I would go because I'm not in the library. So I can still talk to people and be, like do whatever I need to do. But it also has that like mentality of like, okay, I'm at the library. So I have to actually be doing work, even though half the people that go to the library don't end up actually doing work. But lots of places to study on campus. If you come join us for our virtual tour, we would absolutely love to see you, you get to see some of these spaces here on campus so that you can kind of plot out where we're going to end up. But I'm going to invite Angelica on to talk about work study as well as what do credits with minors look like. So she's going to share a little bit about each of those right now.
Yeah, so I saw a question regarding how many credits are required for different minors. And the answer to that is that it's going to depend on what minor you choose. And yeah, it really just has to do with the major that you currently have and the minor that you're trying to add. We have an office on campus called the Undergraduate Academic Success Center, and they can help you with planning your 4 years at APU, or perhaps less than that. And so they're going to let you know exactly what classes to take, and just with your desires in mind, in terms of what fields you want to look into, what majors you're interested in. They're going to help you and come alongside you in creating a plan for that. So yeah, it's really going to depend on the minor that you choose. And then another question that I saw was regarding work study. And there's a little bit of a misconception about what work study is. It's not just the ability to work on campus. Pretty much all students can work on campus if they find a job and obviously work the hours and all of that. Work study is a program that is designed for students who express financial need as determined by the FAFSA. And so they can work on campus like anybody else, but when it's time to fill out the FAFSA the next year, whatever income they have up to the amount that is awarded to them, say if it's $3,000 in work study, then $3,000 from their earnings will be seen as scholarship money, not as actual income. So that's where the benefit of it is, because it won't affect their overall need. And so the reason why I mentioned that is because, yeah, you can still have a job on campus regardless of whether or not you've been offered work study. And when chapel is going on, nothing else really is happening in terms of classes and all of that. But there are some students who may opt to work during that time, but the requirement of chapel attendance is still the same for them. So it's not an excuse to get out of chapel. And so you want to plan around that. And usually on campus, obviously all supervisors know that chapel is happening and that it is required. So they won't make you stay during that time or anything like that. But if you are able to, or it's the end of the semester and you have some absences to use, then you can.
Yeah. A ton of different, again, like she just explained, hopefully that answered your guys' questions. But the next one we're going to talk about, so somebody asked, what advice would you give students who are commuting in terms of connecting and engaging in student life? So to go off of that, we are going to share a little bit about, what kind of things we can do here on campus. If you're a commuter specifically, we have the Cougar Dome, which is designated just for you. So we have space in there, plenty of comfortable tables and chairs for you, a ping pong table, there's free snacks, free printing. So even if you are a commuter student, we want you to feel like APU is your home. We want this to be a place for you. But I know that a few of us are involved in different things on campus. Alex, do you want to share a little bit about volleyball and what that looks like for you participating in that on campus?
Yeah, totally. So I'm on the club volleyball team, and little promo, anyone who plays volleyball will be holding tryouts probably in the fall. So come look for me. But yeah, so what we do is we play like the major schools around us. We play UC Irvine, UCLA, all the major like big schools around us. And we pretty much, it's on the weekends mostly. We practice later in the evening, so you don't have to worry about it like working, it'll like work with your schedule and stuff like that. Our tournaments and stuff are normally within the springtime, so on the weekends, all of our tournaments and everything is on the weekends, which is super nice. There is one that's a couple days like in the week, and that's nationals, when we get to go and like compete against like other schools like within the United States, which is super cool. Unfortunately, I've never been able to go since last year. COVID happened. I was really sad about that, but yeah. You play all the big schools pretty much. It's just like regular club season that you would play at volleyball. And yeah, it's volleyball, pretty much it.
Yeah, Gibbs or Elea, anything else to add on? I know we have a lot of different clubs on campus. I don't know if you guys have been able to attend a couple of those, but those are open for everybody. Anything?
I think the one I always love to plug in these events because it's the greatest is just our ethnic organization, the Pacific Islander Organization, or PIO. One of the events they put on every year was known as like the biggest student ran event that APU hosted annually, and that was our annual Luau. And it was so serious that people would even fly from Hawaii to come view this event. And so PIO, again, being an ethnic organization, was just dedicated to educating, including, and just fostering a community for those who are of Pacific Islander descent, or even those who had no clue about it and just wanted to learn maybe how to make like recipes like spam musubi or things like that. And so that was one of the ones I was like very much involved in. And I would highly recommend you coming to a PIO meeting when you come on campus. It's such a good time.
Yeah, that's the great thing about our clubs is that anybody and everybody can go. So I got to attend a Black Student Association meeting one time and learn more about Black history, which is something I knew very little about. So again, great ways for anybody and everyone to get involved. So we're going to ask 2 more questions and then we're going to wrap this thing up for you guys a little bit early tonight. But the first one thing that I want to mention as well is that we do not require our students to sign a statement of faith here. So if you are not a Christian, we still want you to be part of APU. So while we are a faith-based university and God first is who is our motto, and that is what we chase after and want you guys to be invested in, we do not, again, require you to be a student or a person of faith in order to attend here. So we want, again, to have that different, diverse perspective and to be engaging in these conversations. But again, it's not something that we ask of you. But that being said, all of our staff and faculty members are people of faith and are Christians, so they have signed that statement of faith. So wanted to answer that for somebody. But the last question I'm going to ask before we wrap it up is, what is your favorite thing about APU? And as cheesy as it is, we all have a favorite thing. So we're going to go Gibbs, Elea, Alex, and myself, and then we will close things out. So Gibbs, you want to take it off?
Yeah, my favorite thing about APU is, it sounds cheesy, but it's just the people. I remember coming in freshman year and I was really scared because I'm a very social person, but it's really hard for me to make friends at first. So I was really nervous moving into dorms with knowing no one. But APU just has this culture that cultivates community in a way that I've never experienced before. So if you're afraid of not being able to make friends, I guarantee you will, through events, through living on your dorm, through just meeting people, and the friendliness of not only the students but the faculty and staff is just mind-blowing. The way that people care and pour into you all the time. Yeah, I think that's just been, when I look back and I graduate from APU, I'm gonna remember the people the most and the friendships that I've made.
Yeah, that's so true. I echo everything that Gibbs just shared. I think even more specifically for me, it has to be the professors, like just priceless at APU. When you come to APU, you'll quickly realize that we are we have a very small class size. So the average class size right now is 19 students in each class. And so not only is that great when it comes to getting to know the other people, like other classmates, but specifically your professors are even so much more willing to get to know you on a personal level, like giving you their personal cell number, their personal email, checking in on you when you miss class, and they add accountability. But more than that, just being there for like prayer. I reach out to my professors outside of like work and academic things every single week, just because they're there for you, not just within your grades, and you're not just a grade in their book, but also just a person. So I think mine is the professors, how they see you and how they're there for you.
Yeah, totally. I'd have to say both of those, like the community and the professors, having a super small like class size, or like all the reasons like why I chose APU. Like everyone at APU is just so friendly, and like you can literally walk up to anyone and just be like, hi, like how's your day going? And they'll be like, oh my God, like hi, how are you? And I just think that's like really kind of cool. Like you definitely like wouldn't get that like anywhere else like besides APU. Like it's just amazing. Like the community and the professors, they're so caring, just like Elea talked about. And having like that small class size, like your professors really truly do want to get to know you. Like they're there for you, and like they just want to be there and help you. Like everyone at APU just wants to be there like for each other pretty much.
Well, they took everything I was going to say. So, as you can tell, APU, it's a very relational, very intentional community. So, if you become a student here, which we hope you do, we hope that you feel part of the community, that you feel known, that you feel loved, and that you just get to experience all the things that we have here. So, everything from making fun of Mexicali to maybe joining volleyball teams, whatever it's going to be. But thanks so much for being here and spending your time with us tonight, you guys. We hope that we were able to answer your questions well. And please, if you have not already, sign up for a tour. Go ahead and meet with an admissions counselor if we were not able to answer anything that you have for us today. But after that being said, enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, and hopefully we'll get to see you here on campus in just a few months.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight.